Hey, book lovers, welcome back to Shelf Addiction, the podcast where we dive deep into the pages of thriller and fantasy reads. I'm your host, Tamara, and today we're diving into a fun HBCU urban fantasy. This book has been making the rounds on Black Book Talk, and after seeing some really excitable reviews, we had to see what the hype was all about. But first, quick heads up, if you crave the full visual experience and want to ditch the ads, head on over to Patreon. You'll unlock ad-free video episodes, exclusive after shows, and tons of bonus content. If you prefer audio only, Spreaker listeners, you're in luck. After shows and exclusives are now available right there as well. Want even more bookish banter? Join our community over on the Book Hubs app. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening. And speaking of community, I'm thrilled to welcome back my fantasy and romance ride or die co-host, Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! I think this would be a good one.
This will be a good one.
Yeah. So you guys, you can find us both online in all the usual spots. The links for everything are in the show notes. Click around, do all the things. We appreciate you for doing that. But before we begin, we just want to remind you that we talk full spoilers with book chats. So spoiler alert, you've been warned. Today, we are discussing The Secret World of Maggie Gray, the first book in the Drew Collins series written by Granger. The audiobook is narrated by Trey Taylor and Avery Waddle. Published on August 4th, 2024 by the author and later an audiobook with Podium Audio. The paperback is 450 pages. The unabridged audio is 13 hours and 21 minutes. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
A vampire, a witch, and a siren get accepted into a magical HBCU. The rest I'm not allowed to say, but just know that there is a talking cat named Quan, a few murders that went cold, and a world that is just below our feet. That's it.
That's it.
That does not tell you anything.
So that is the most ambiguous synopsis ever for a book that's 450 pages long. But sure, whatever. Okay. High level, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I do have critiques. I have some issues with it. But overall, over the years, I've read quite a few books with like magical schools, and I think this one is one of the better ones that I've read. So just high key, high level. I'm very happy with a lot of this. Mm-hmm. But there are going to be critiques throughout this conversation.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
okay, I thought it was vibes. It was a good time, fully vibe worthy. It was a vibe-ish read.
Yes.
I would not say it's the most complicated story at all.
I was waiting for it to pick up, and it didn't.
But, if you ever feel like, what's it like to have fun and party every weekend and
they've only been in school 1 week, right?
They're partying out the gate. It's a good time. Like I said, it's vibes, right?
Yes.
If you're familiar with any college experience, really, you could kind of get this, especially when you're new to someplace and you don't know people and you just want to have fun. So those are the primary vibes. And I personally love the HBCU environment. I thought that was really cool. So there were a lot of things I liked, but some things, it was not a perfect read. So we're just going to get to it. Where should we begin? Do you have any?
I want you to start. I'm putting you in the spotlight today.
So look, I'm just going to say this and take it how you will. I don't mean anything mean, but a lot of people that listen to this podcast are a rainbow of colors. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have any Black friends, don't read this book thinking you're going to understand Black people, because this ain't it. It's very stereotyped, extreme versions. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, this was not the norm in college. Unless you went to a party school, maybe, but that was not my college experience. So don't think, reading this book, oh my God, all Black people do is party, drink, and smoke weed. And they're, hoes. No, they're not. So, yes, this is fiction, but it's very stereotyped in a way that could be dangerous depending on who's reading it and what they're getting from it.
Yes. Yes.
So let me just say that.
That is a good caveat, because I have lots of Black friends. I know how bad that sounds, but yes, I have lots of Black friends, and none of them act like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this was very, very stereotyped. Very, I don't want to say one-dimensional, because the characters did have depth to them, but it was one-dimensional.
It was surface level depth, like differences, but they were all basically the same. Like, all the men were trash to me. All the men were trash.
Especially Jean or Jean.
Yeah.
However you pronounce his name.
All the women kind of had this self-hatred toward each other, about each other. I think Clementine was the only character that kind of stood out to me, and it was like this typical
sorority girl.
Sorority, you think you're better than everyone personality. Everyone else, like, everyone doesn't speak like that all the time. You're in university. You're not talking like that all day, every day. You're just not. I'm done. I don't know. I'm done with that conversation, because I'm going to be sounding mean, and I don't want to sound mean, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Like,
that's why I say it's
Maggie
vibes.
was a graduate student.
Yeah, she's 26 years old, which, okay, I had a hard time. So I think one of them said they were 20. I think,
yes.
was it
Holly?
Isis? Holly?
The girl who lost her virginity and then
Yeah.
got murdered.
Yeah. Oops. Whoever she was only 20. Maggie was 26. And I guess the rest of them are some kind of variation of in between. The men might be a little bit older, a little.
I think Coach is in his mid-30s, or at least 30.
Well, I know they kept saying we're about the same age to each other. So he's probably closer to 30. But the professor dude,
was
he might have been in
40.
his, because he said he was about to turn 40.
In his birthday. They had birthday sex after he turned 40.
Yeah. And I wish I knew how old Susie was, but I'm going to say somewhere between 21 and 26.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. I think it was unique and fun to put full-on adults in this situation, but I don't know, they kind of didn't act very adult at times.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest pet peeves. Because I was so excited. I was like, thank goodness we have characters who are mid-20s, 30s. Like, they're grown.
But
then none of them acted like adults. They were all just party girls, or let me complain about this. Let me be whiny about that. I was like, you're acting like you're 19.
Yes, I
read so many YA books. I don't want to read that when you're telling me they're older.
I thought there was a lot of opportunity to get really into the weeds of, Maggie's history here, even some of the other girls, like Asha. We had some opportunities to get deep and have some real, like, adult conversations and revelations and things like that, but we didn't get any of that. It just stayed very surface to the point where I was like, I really stopped and said, wait, what is the plot? What is happening?
I kept waiting for that was my other biggest critique, was like, she just focused on, I guess, world building and introducing characters and setting up for future books, but there's really no plot to book one. There's no resolution to book one. There's no, like, everybody had sex and was happy, but they've only known each other a week, so it's not like, hey, we are in an established relationship. We've worked through our issues. No, it's just we're just here and we're happy, and I guess they're having sex.
Happy, not happy? I don't know.
Happy, not happy?
Yeah, I was like, what is the point? So that's exactly the catchphrase for this review. All vibes, no point.
Oh, God.
It was like a reality TV show. That's what it felt like.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it absolutely was, especially because it changed, points of view every 2 seconds. We got literally everybody's points of view.
Yeah. Which was too many, I think.
Mhm.
Which is kind of like my issue with this title, the titling of the book. I thought we were supposed to be focused on Maggie Gray. I thought she
Mhm.
was supposed to be the center point of this book, but
Mhm.
she felt secondary to me. I think Asha's had a bigger part than Maggie
Oh,
did.
absolutely. Maggie was very important at the beginning, and
Hmm.
then everybody else kind of took over, and she
She got
got pushed
lost.
just yeah, she did. Even especially at the end after she twisted her ankle.
Hmm.
So during the whole party, they're like, "Yeah, she's just up in her room. She's in bed up in her room. Nobody knows, nobody cares. We're going to deal with all of our stuff."
So okay, speaking of her in this party and twisting her ankle and being in this room, so the coach comes there.
Mhm.
That was horrific to me. That whole thing was horrific. I'm like, okay, we went from y'all like basically cussing each other out on a regular basis. And
Mhm.
to now you guys are like, he's like smelling everything. And I'm like, what the
Oh
fuck is
god.
going on? That scene was so disturbing a
It's
little bit.
it was just because his sister lied to both of them.
Yeah,
She was
it was a
like,
parent
"Oh,
trap.
yeah. Yeah, it was a parent trap, and they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker."
She really likes you. I'm telling you. I would not
Mhm.
lie to you. Oh, he really likes you. He was talking
Mhm.
about you and everything. You're like, what? Let's just fall into bed and you could just sniff all the body parts. But,
Right, that was
we should say that, Coach Namir, right? Namir,
mhm.
he is
A
a
werewolf.
werewolf. So, they keep talking about how he's kind of a dog.
Which yes. But also, how are sense memories? Because that did not make sense to me.
No, I don't.
Because he was like, "I can smell her memory of sitting in her kitchen with her mom and her grandma," and I was like, "How the hell do you smell that?"
No,
Like, if
that's
I smell
different.
cookies, I can think of it, but I'm not sniffing my wrist
Hmm.
and thinking of my mom and grandma.
Like, so can you sniff every person she's ever been with then? Can you smell
Probably.
that and visualize
Probably.
that? That's uncomfortable.
Very much so.
I don't know. It is weird. I'm like, explain that a little more. Like, that would be nice if
Mhm.
she's going to do that, kind of explain how that's even possible, how that power works. We don't really know.
We don't know much of anything about the werewolves.
Yeah.
For as much time as we spend in his head, we know next to nothing about werewolves.
Hmm. Yeah, we know nothing. I do know that he's an asshole. I know that,
Mhm.
like through and through.
Absolutely.
Like from
Yeah.
the beginning, like
Oh,
they got
absolutely.
off on the wrong foot immediately, and it never course corrected ever.
Mm-mm.
And that's why it seems so odd that suddenly they just be together after being tricked by his sister. That just doesn't make sense to me. They virtually hated each other.
I think it was supposed to be one of those things where you hate the person, but then you realize, oh, it was lust all along. But it didn't work.
Mm-mm. And I
It
mean,
was
so Maggie being like, okay, so I guess the author tried to get into it a little bit about the origins of her family
mhm.
and how the vampires were a end result of something the werewolves did.
Yes.
So it's like, well, your people have to take responsibility for this. And it's kind of like, I think that might have changed his opinion a little bit after reading that different book.
Mhm.
They couldn't tell who wrote it or
Yes.
anything, but I don't know. It still seemed weak at best, that explanation.
Yes. And I hope they go deeper into it because it was a very vague bedtime story that they
Very
were
woo
still
woo.
trying to disprove.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought, okay, so and then when they're in the library reading
Mhm.
that, I said, so did no other werewolves ever think to fucking read the stuff in the library before? Is this
Apparently
the
not.
first time you guys are reading the library? Documentation? It's weird.
Mhm.
I know it's locked up and you needed permission to read it, but obviously you really didn't because that librarian just let you in. So, like, no
Yeah.
one thought, let's read the history. We're just going to keep saying these stories and believing it.
Right?
That was weird.
It was very weird.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It seemed very ignorant to me.
I don't have an answer.
It seemed ignorant to me. But
But he talked about how his brother, the alpha of the pack, is like the smartest man he knows and is really book smart. And I think he said his brother read all the books, except he didn't read this one. And then when he did read it, he was like, "No, do you see who the author is? The author writes bedtime stories. This isn't real." Like, it was just very dismissive and very... No, somebody who reads a lot of books is going to want to research and investigate.
Yeah, and if those are private papers, right, they're locked away, there's a reason that's there. You shouldn't just, discredit it.
Exactly.
Like that. That sounds stupid. So
exactly.
It doesn't really connect in that way. And I was a little disappointed with that outcome, but
Same. That was, yeah.
I mean, same with Susie. I was disappointed with hers as well. So.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Girl. I had such high hopes for her. Having
Susie in my friend group would piss me the fuck off. Like, I'm not your fucking bodyguard. I'm not going to keep these men off you. You better figure out how to speak up for yourself or something. I ain't doing it. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. It's so weird. And it's like, we never, unless I missed it, we never did find out who exactly in her family she wanted to learn necromancy for.
We haven't learned that yet. No.
Like, what happened? What are you trying to learn?
Yeah.
The professor tells her what to do. So there's this point where she sees these ghosts at this tree. And there's a fourth ghost that's kind of like sad and separate from the other playing children ghost. And the professor tells her what to do to lure the children specifically. Yep. And she's like, fuck what you talking about. Do what I want.
Yes. Oh my God. This
so
girl.
Stupid. I'm like, but why are we doing this? I don't understand. It's like more. Yeah. Like more things not being explained.
Yes. I know she talked about like just wanting to practice and do it, but also you've been at the school for a week. You haven't really done any of this before. Your professor just told you not to do this because it's, 1, dangerous, and then 2, he told you how to do it so it won't be dangerous. And you're like, fuck you. Yeah. I'm going to do it my own way anyway because I can. Even though she's here to learn how to do it. Yeah.
And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. But I need to know what is so dire you're willing to get you and your friends expelled.
Right? Before you even learn how to do anything properly?
Yeah.
Because they said she'd been applying for the school for years. So she's been trying to get into this for a long time. And now that she's here, she's ready to throw it all away just to try and talk to some girls by a tree. Like, it's not even the one ghost she really wants to talk to. It's just like a practice ghost.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds.
It's weird. And they're like, so what, you want to be like... wait, what is the phrase I'm looking for? You want to be like the drum major for justice or something? I think I might have messed up that phrase, but
I know what you mean.
For justice, for the ghost. That's what you want to do. You want to be... But
also, like, she doesn't even know what happened to the ghosts.
Yeah.
She didn't see the one little girl with her neck ripped out. Maggie did.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I'm like, you got me tripping. You got me out here doing this crazy shit. We would not be friends, Susie. No.
But also, her dad is insane.
So, okay, so the dad, her father is gay. All the way gay. It's so funny.
Gay as gay can be.
The scene where they're all telling the father what happened, when Maggie was out in the woods, they're telling, and I think it was Asha that was mouthing, "Is your dad gay?" He's like, "Talk to me, girl." I'm like, "Oh, damn, he hurt you." Like, "Is your dad gay?" So that actually reminded me of this character on Will Trent. Do you watch Will Trent?
No, I don't.
So it's an adaptation of the Karen Slaughter books called, I think, Will Trent. So in there, he is like foster brothers with this guy who is gay and has a daughter. Like, how did that happen? So it's funny in this book, he says, hey, I saw a hot chick that I want to have a baby with, and that's what happened. I said, oh, damn. And he be talking shit about her too. Like, oh my God.
He talks shit about everybody. I would not want to be friends with him. I would not want him in my life.
I wouldn't want to be his daughter the way he talked to her. So it's like, so on one hand, that's that real old school mentality of parenting. Like, I'm just going to be so shitty to you. So if anyone is shitty to you, you won't be fazed by it because you're used to it.
Yeah.
Which is crappy. I don't like that at all. But you know,
it's terrible. It's a terrible way to parent.
But she like, well, that's how, you know, who he is. You know, it's fine. And she gonna check anybody who talk bad about her daddy. I'm like, okay. Okay, girl. I guess. But yeah.
But also, I was going to say, like, she, at the beginning, you know, she was very anti this professor. She was very like, I'm not sleeping with you. You're going to be in charge of my whole career. I'm going to take all these classes from you. I don't want to blur this line. And then at the very end, she's like, whatever. This is happening. And I was like, why? Why? I had such high hopes for you.
Look,
when you shot him down.
She only liked him because he didn't like her.
Oh.
That's what they basically said in the book.
They did say that, but I was hoping she was better than that.
No, she's very childish. All these people are very childish. Like, you want the guy that doesn't want you. Everyone else is falling all over themselves and you don't like any of them. You can't even bother remembering their names. But this hot professor you want because he's like, little girl, I don't need to be I want to be with you. I got all the hoes in every area code. I don't need you. I'm like, Lord have mercy. These guys are the worst. Like, they're all the worst.
They are the worst. Oh my God. It's yeah.
You know, that's the thing about like these books. So even in the situation where it's like that maybe bully situation or enemies to lovers, there still has to be something believable that makes us as the reader want to root for them, even though they're trash to each other.
Yes.
Something has to change in a big way for us to shift, make that shift from A to Z.
Yes.
And that's missing for every single situation here.
Yes. Yes.
Period.
Yes. I agree. Co-signed.
Yeah. So it's like there are, again, like it's funny, right? It's fun and funny. And it gives you the shock value with some of the things the characters are saying to each other. I'm like, oh my God. But the connective tissue is missing. Like there's a lot of detail for a book that's so freaking long. It's a lot of stuff missing.
It's because she just head hopped and she wanted to show you what every character was thinking and how they're interacting with each other and how Clementine hates everybody. So she's going to destroy everything because she has to be perfect and, you know, this, that, and the other. It was just so mundane. I guess that's the right word.
I feel like the author, speaking of Clementine, didn't know what they wanted to do with her because, you know, she's very stereotypical. I'm Miss Perfect. I'm the president. Join my club. Only the elite get into this group. I'm the best.
Only the pretty people.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with this pretty girl.
Yeah. But then, you know, she's turning around and she's bringing food to Asha. She's like, we gonna hang out, you know.
We're going to eat lunch together and be friends and have fun. And then she turns around and, like, destroys her party and, like, voodoo
and puts a hex in her house. Like, she hexed her house.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, so she talking about she'll even come back with salads another night. You know, she actually is trying to befriend her.
It was
and
weird.
And then she just does an about face. And the party isn't even on the same night that they were hosting their party. So whatever anger she had was really unfounded. It's not like they were trying to beat out her sorority house party because it was the next night. So I'm like,
no, she was just mad that, you know, people who weren't legacies were there. People from outside the
Yeah.
school were there. It was just a loud party and people were ignoring her. It was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird, very immature. This chick doesn't
Mhm.
even have, and it was so funny because, we found out she was 23 years old
Mhm.
because I think it was Maggie, or maybe it was, I don't know, it's either Asha or Maggie. She's talking to her and she asked her how old she was. I think it was Maggie when she was being shown around.
I think
And
so.
she's like, the immature bitch. Like, that's like, she act like
Yes.
that. Like, damn, girl. Like, okay.
Even her brother was calling her out on it. He was like, "It's a party. Let's
Yeah,
just go
calm
have
down.
fun."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I have to call the cops. I have to be the biggest bitch."
Like, okay, Becky. Like, nah.
Ooh.
But I mean, I get, okay, so it's funny, right? It's
Mhm.
funny. It's very
Yes.
like dramatic, but it's
Mhm.
very young. It's like these are a bunch of
Mhm.
20-year-olds in college that act crazy.
Yes.
And it's whatever seriousness we're supposed to be about the level of shit that's going on is lost.
Completely. They lost all the threads. Like when they were telling us about the 4 different schools and here's the different areas and these people, the witches learn over here and the sirens learn over here and here's the school of knowledge. I was like really invested and interested because that's such a unique setup.
Mhm.
Typically everybody's just sorted into one big school. You're just kind of there together. But I was expecting a lot more depth about this magical world and about all of the creatures and all of their struggles and this whole underground world.
Yeah, same. So it started so strong, right?
Mhm.
And I
It
really
did.
thought, wow, this is a really unique idea. Like we
Mhm.
have adults, we have
Uh-huh.
magic. It's like, wow, this is like Hogwarts for adults. And
Yes.
I thought, wow, with a little, HBCU flavor. Okay,
Yes.
so I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. But then as about 50%, I started noticing things like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Where are we going?
Mhm.
Is there a villain? Is there a crime? Is there a mystery? What is
Mhm.
happening? And it was just a lot of nothing.
Well, they did have the issue where they decided to go back to the real world to buy alcohol and clothes and then could not get their way back home. And we spent 50 fucking pages doing random stuff. It wasn't 50, but
Okay,
it just
so
felt like it
it
went on
felt like
forever.
it. So let's
Mhm.
talk about that. But first, let's take a break. And then we'll
Okay.
come back and talk about that little excursion to the real world. Oh my God, what a fiasco. Anyway, you guys check out these commercials. By listening to those, you are supporting the podcast. And actually, the book review journal is available right now, still available on Amazon. So go on ahead, click the little link and check it out right now. And when we return, we'll finish this conversation, we'll rate it. And yeah, I think that's it. We're going to
Heck
wrap it
yeah.
up at the end. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, you mentioned their outing.
Okay, so the girls are throwing this party because apparently the party is the plot and they need alcohol, but they can't just let somebody go buy alcohol for them. They all have to go back up into the real normal world, upside world. I don't know what to
Above
call
ground,
it.
I guess.
Above ground world,
Mhm.
Atlanta. And it was a really interesting concept of having doors and walking between doors and knowing like, okay, here's a door. I'm going to think about where I want to go and I'm going to go here and then, be wherever I need to be. It was interesting. The concept was interesting. I will say that. Um, and then the girls got dumb and they're like, okay, he's going to open the door again in 2 hours and we either have to like come back through his door in 2 hours or find somebody else up here to get us through a door. And they just decided to find somebody else.
Using an app.
An app. Yeah.
It's like
But it
find
doesn't
someone who could
really
guide you
work.
through an app, and it doesn't. Yeah, the phone's not working. The shit's not working. So
So then they
okay,
go to Waffle House
of
of
all
all fucking
places.
places.
Waffle House. They're trying to eat their food. They get interrupted. People looking at them, and poor, Ice is looking a little strange. Because she's a siren, but she's like an offshoot of a lower class of them.
Yes.
Right. So she looks a little more sea-like than, she's got the pointy ears. She got some teeth showing, some incisors. I don't know. But, people looking at them and, some lady comes and sits down. She's like, where's school y'all from, basically? She knows because she's from that community. Her partner comes in. He acting hood too, eating their food. And basically said, y'all go to that exceptional school and they don't even teach you how to get through the doors? What kind of whack-ass school do you go to, essentially? And so they tell them, they explain how to get back. They're like, okay, great, let's do it. And it fails.
And he was like, just focus on where you want to go. Just focus.
Yeah.
And they're like, but what if we don't focus? And it's like, oh, well, you'll just end up in a time loop. It's fine. It's whatever. Just focus. I can't. That whole scene was just so long.
Yeah. So he told them what to do. They had to focus on the doors, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to attempt to do it.
And they fail.
They fail several times over.
Yes.
And again, it brings me back to these are adults, not children.
Mm-hmm.
You knock on a door, you open the door, you think of where you want to go, then you step through it.
Yes.
These dumb bitches cannot figure out how to focus. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why can't anybody focus? What is happening?
Seriously, why can't anybody focus? They're running and crying and stressed out, but they just cannot focus.
No.
So at the end of the book, you have the last page that's like end of book 1, thank you. And then the author says, I'll be putting my thoughts in the next few pages. And so the next page right after that is called Explaining the Doors. And the author starts by saying, I'm usually so against going backwards, but since I'm moving on to using my last name as my pen name, I thought it would be a dope way to say out with the old, in with the new. And then basically explains each door. The first door is a scene out of a book called Hoodwinked. The second door is a beloved saint and the queen. Probably, I guess, a different series. The third one is the Brotherhood series and Perfect Sisters. Fourth is Carter Boys. The fifth was the Perfect Sisters. The sixth was Sky Sisters and Skyfall. Yeah, no, she just put these characters into every other book series she's ever written.
Okay, so the Easter eggs are fun for the fans of this author. But as someone who is new to this author, I didn't care about it. I was more frustrated by it than ooh and eyeing over the cameos.
Same. It was very, very long. And like this was essentially one of the worst things that happened in this book. And that's not a good Dark Knight plot point, is that we're stuck in these different worlds seeing characters from different books.
No, and okay, so I know, people do Easter eggs all the time. Like, Sarah J. Maas does it, right?
Oh, yeah. Everybody does it.
Everyone, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't do it all the time. But, will I read those other books to find out who those people are? No, I will not.
No.
So I don't know if that was supposed to entice us or, again, if that's just for the fans that read everything.
Both, but yeah, no.
It didn't really work. I was so frustrated with them. I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, focus. What's wrong with you people?
I know. I was like, every time you're knocking on the door, just think about your home.
Yeah. And I was like, well, does some of this cross over? Because she kept talking about seeing the moon. And I was like, well, is something going to result from that? Is something going to come of it? And
kind of, but it was...
Not really.
It was her finally realizing, like, oh, I look at the moon and I see the moon everywhere.
But
And I was like, you could have done that in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You didn't not have to do it here.
No. Whatever. I didn't love it. It was like, it did feel very long. That part of it felt really long. And guess what? The cat, Quan, said, fuck you guys. I'm going home. You guys want to play these games. I'm out of here. They get back and the cat's like, yeah, I went through a pet door. It took you guys long enough. Y'all fucking around out there. I just came back.
He was funny.
Yeah.
He was funny.
This guy, I was hoping he would turn into a man in this book, but he was not yet.
I think he will eventually. And then I'm curious to see which one of them hooks up with him. But
well, he likes Isis. He was very jealous of her hooking up in the backyard.
That is true. But I don't know.
I don't know. He is like the most attitude. It is funny because he is just like these other dudes. He talks shitty to people. And then he's like, I don't know. And they just keep like antagonizing him by calling him like, oh, such a cute kitty. You know, all stuff. They antagonize the hell out of him. And he like, fuck you guys.
See, I felt like he had the most reason to be that big of an asshole.
Yeah.
Because his dad's girlfriend turned him into a cat.
Yeah.
And then made his dad forget about him. So nobody really remembers he exists. He can't talk to everybody. Just certain people can understand him. So, like, yeah, I would have a really shitty attitude, too.
Well, he said that the lady made his dad think he ran off with some woman.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like, keep trying to tell the dad that he's there, but he can't. Only certain people can hear him. Everyone else just hears meowing like a cat.
Yes.
So the father never figured out that his son was a cat.
A cat. So, yeah, no, like, out of all the men, he's the one who, like, can have that attitude.
Yeah.
Or, like, I understand that attitude. Everybody else, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You're just a dick. Like, Solomon? Oh, he's such a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's not good. He is like, what did they call him? He's like the
trident?
Yeah, something. So he's basically the best of the male
like
sirens.
A king.
Yeah. And he supposedly is supposed to hook up, and it's fated mates, I guess, almost for these two, supposedly, right? Because like he's her match. I keep trying to say
fated, but like forced mates, because the school wants them to mate and have kids.
He kept saying though at the end, he was like, "You're for me," or "You're my equal," "You're my something." Okay, he said, "Even if we don't hook up, even if we don't, you're still my equal." Like they are meant, like, because she's a different kind of siren.
That's true.
That is like long lost. And she's supposedly like queen type, right? They mentioned that, and he's the top of his food chain. So they're supposed to be together, even though she's like, nah. And he's like, I don't like you either. He said, I like you anyway. And he keeps trying to convince her, hey, you should come hang out with us and see. And she's like, but y'all had a message board about me.
Yeah, no, they were very awful to her.
Yeah. I would not mess with no guy who had a message board. And the way they were talking about her was awful. What's she supposed to say? I'm over it. Okay, I'll befriend you guys. I'll be your friends.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
That's dreadful.
Yes.
And honestly, that guy was so gross because he just like has this, I guess supposedly the sirens are just all of that in a bag of chips, and everyone wants to sleep with the sirens.
Yeah.
The women are lining up to sleep with this guy, literally lining up to sleep with this guy.
There was like 3 women in the room waiting in line.
It was disgusting. The scene was gross. So she comes in there, and this guy is like doing a woman, and they're all standing there like, like it's just normal to just wait in line for this guy. I'm like, bleh.
Yeah, no.
He's not cute. He's not. Nothing about him said he was very suave or had anything. He was just abrasive and gross.
Yes.
So I don't quite get it.
It was the siren charm. It was just the pheromones in the air, I guess.
I guess, but apparently she wasn't about them. She was like, ugh.
Good for her.
Yeah. And then he's like,
But
I
yeah.
don't like you neither. It's just because he was mad. Like, she didn't want to mess with him, and he was mad about it, so he wanted to act all stupid. But then he apologizes and brings her weed and food so they can just sit there and talk their stuff out over some weed.
Which, yay, I'm glad they talked like adults, but
Yeah.
also, no. Like, you don't get to just be a dick and awful and then say, hey, smoke this joint with me, now we're all good. Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how life works. That's not how any of this works.
No, I mean, and some of the stuff he was saying was really dreadful, like on the message boards.
Really bad. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Like, that is sickening level. Like, I would never speak to that guy. I wouldn't even let him. I don't care if he came over trying to apologize to me. He would stayed outside.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, he was saying stuff like, I'll sleep with her first. I'll let you guys watch. I'll pass her around if she wants it. Or, like, I don't care after we do it the first time. It was very, one, degrading, and two, just fucking shitty.
Yeah. And then, so how did she choose to respond was also I was very confused by that.
Yeah.
Response. Like, she decided to, like, strip down butt naked and go over there and, like, make this scene. That I was like, oh my God. So I did say out loud a couple times, like, WTF is she doing? Ew!
Right?
Ew!
Right? And then, okay, so yeah, no, that whole scene was just, I don't even have words for that
awful.
scene. It was awful.
It was jarring. I'm like, what is she doing?
But after that, like, okay, mic drop moment. If you want that to be your mic drop moment,
Yeah.
you do you.
Yeah.
Like, not even an hour later, she's like, my party's boring. My friends aren't talking to me. I guess I'm just going to go over there and have sex with him.
Yeah.
And literally walks over there, goes to his room and says, let's have sex. And he's like, well, get naked. She's like, well, you're mean. And then leaves. And I was like, what the fuck was this? You had your fuck you moment.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself right back in the situation.
Did she think he would act differently? I mean, he's used to women coming and just taking their clothes off and getting in line. So,
yes.
When he acts like that to you, you're hurt because that's how he's acting. He's acting like the person he is, and you're surprised by that.
And that wasn't even the worst thing he had said to her or about her. So, like, this is where you draw the line?
Yeah.
Honestly, honey, like, you need some better friends. Like, you need some girlfriends to sit you down and be like, no.
She calls him some kind of fish boy or something, and then he was pissed off.
Which isn't even that big of an insult.
Oh my God, I cannot. Honestly, so the siren, okay, so Isis was messing with the siren as well, right? That's the guy who really liked her.
I think in the pool. Part siren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she was talking about his lips and stuff. Remember that?
Yes,
and I was like, ooh, that does not sound great. So if Solomon has the same thing going on because he's a siren, I'm like, ew, gross.
Yeah. No.
And them having their own liquid situation. Ew,
oh, gross. No. Oh, so bad. Oh, so bad.
Like, I was cringing. I was like, ooh.
No, thank you.
The author was like trying to really ratchet up the raunchiness, and she did that.
Yes.
It was very raunchy, not sexy.
Mm-mm.
I was like, gross. I don't want him either.
I know. It was like, no, thank you.
No.
Pass.
Yeah, that's not sexy.
Honestly, pass on every single man in this entire stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. Jeez. They're all, like I said, they're all trash. All of them.
Yes.
That's why I said it was like I was watching a reality show. Like, you know how everyone wants the drama part, right?
Yes.
When people are throwing plates, tossing tables, and cussing each other out. Everyone wants that. That's what we got in this book.
Yes.
Instead of like the deep thinking and self-discovery and all these other things we could have gotten, we just got a high level of drama.
Yes. But So, are you interested enough to see who murdered Hillary?
Okay, so on one hand, I am curious because I'm like, well, the author did all this work laying the groundwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that means we'll have something different for the second book. Maybe. Or it'll be more of the same. And the second book is longer. It's 517 pages.
Oh, damn.
It has another really, really short synopsis. And the ratings, the amount of reviews has fallen off completely, but they're still coming in pretty good. People who are loving it, they're loving it, right?
Okay.
So it's like I see a couple of people who did not love the second book, and I'm not really reading it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be spoiled, but some
Yeah.
people really hate it, and like the majority seem to love it. So I feel torn. I'm like, I feel like I kind of want to see if anything changes,
Mm-hmm.
but then I kind of don't. If it's going to be more of exactly the same stuff, I don't want another book.
I have a feeling it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah.
I think there might be a little more plot to it now that like the murder has happened and we're going to have a murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't write a whole 400 plus page book and have the murder at the end and then book 2 solve it. Like that's not a murder mystery. That is
No.
a book with a cliffhanger ending.
Which honestly makes me feel like the author probably didn't know what kind of book they were writing when they
Probably
started this.
not.
They kind of
Yeah.
just said, I like these high level ideas. Let's see where it goes. And it
Yeah.
seemed like that murder at the end was kind of thrown in.
Yeah. To really change it up because
Yeah, so I don't know. Will changing gears to a murder mystery change much, or are we still gonna? Well, obviously these women have now hooked up with these dudes.
mm-hmm.
So either we're gonna have more of that same bullshit where they can't figure out if they really like each other or not, or we're gonna move past it and continue.
Oh,
I don't know.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot more drama because one, Susie, she was with her professor and she's like, I don't need no fucking date. You can go off and do whatever you want to do. And Maggie's like, I'm kind of into this coach guy, but also we're mortal enemies. Yeah, no, I feel like it's gonna be another book of drama.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, they have to get back at Clementine for her evil deeds. Revenge as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a fun time, but I'm not sure. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know.
It's not something I want to jump on right away, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely not. I feel like I don't know. I'm curious, but I also don't have high hopes for it.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I said, so if you know what kind of drama it is, right? If you know, to me, it's like this. I'm going to explain it with reality TV. Okay, so if you are like in Real Housewives of New Jersey, you know they on there tossing tables and screaming at each other. This is gonna be like season 2, when someone's tossing shit at someone else. So it's gonna be more. I think you're right. It's gonna be more of that alongside probably a half-baked mystery. It's probably not going to be very fleshed out.
Probably not.
Maybe some more self-discovery. Maybe not. A lot of head hopping again. Probably.
Oh yeah.
So if I do read it again, I think it might be a fun book to get you out of a reading slump because it's just for the sheer drama. And like I said, it's all vibes. It's like all vibes and drama. Yes. So if you need something to kind of like shake up, like if you've been reading a lot of sad books or something and you need to, that might be a time where I would read this if I wanted something like that. But
same.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm kind of disappointed. I really had high hopes for it, but it didn't really hit in the way I wanted it to. Not fully. So
yeah. I had high hopes, and the beginning of the story met those high hopes. It really did. It was, I guess about the halfway point when I was like, okay, you fulfilled this beginning promise, but now we're not fulfilling the rest of the story. Like, it was such a good start.
The author forgot what the promise was.
Yes.
It turned into a bunch of drama without any point. So again, all vibes, no point. I stand by that. It's just vibes, you know? So yeah, I think we should rate it. What do you think?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I'm right there with you. It's all vibes, no point. So I'm going to give it a very vibe happy 3 stars.
Okay. I agree. When I was coming into this conversation, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to give it a 4 or a 3 because it was a good time. And, you know, here on Shelf Addiction, a 3 is not a bad rating.
It's not. It says I liked it.
I liked it just fine. It was fine. And especially when you have to talk about it, right? You start realizing, and actually during the reading process, I was realizing, I'm like, what is the point? What are we doing?
Right. What are we doing? What's the point?
Why? So, I mean, if you're not in the headspace and you don't care about any of those things, you just want a good time, hey, read it, check it out. It's definitely entertaining, if nothing else.
Yes.
But if you're looking for some kind of deep, you know, revelation to learn something new about, I don't know, vampires and werewolves, maybe not this.
Yeah. I was hoping that we would get like really interesting new mythology with all of these creatures, something totally different. And again, like the beginning fulfilled that promise.
Yeah.
It was great. It just, there was no follow through.
Even the witchy part fell flat. Like, you know how they kept talking about, we have our 3, but we need, you know, the 4th. Who's the 4th? And then when they found the 4th, I'm like, oh, was this all just for an old girl to do her little talk to the ghost in the woods? That's it? We just gonna drop it? Like, what happened? Like,
apparently, yeah.
That's so stupid. Like, there were so many things, so many opportunities.
Yes.
Like, that were there, and the author just dropped the ball. We got there and just let it go. Never heard back about it again. So, that's that.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a fun time, but time to move on to the next thing.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's all we got. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay, well, if you guys have read The Secret World of Maggie Gray and you have differing opinions than us, or if you agree, let us know. Leave us a comment or hit us up on, you know, one of the social media links below. Join us over on the Book Clubs app and, you know, shoot me a message. Join us on Patreon and leave comments under this video. Feel free to do that. I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling about this. And, you know, if we're way off base, tell us why. I challenge you to do so. Okay, so we appreciate you for listening to the entire episode. That means a lot. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.